I was recently in Switzerland, a very, very well-known, beautiful hotel. I'm not going to name the name. And we got as a welcome amenity tropical fruits.
Right. In Switzerland.
In Switzerland.
In the mountains, in the Alps.
Right. And I was like, it's kind of missing. I'm like, no, give me the stuff, right? Give me either the fruits or whatever grows in Switzerland.
Or chocolate.
Chocolate, whatever
would be Swiss.
But not tropical fruit. So anyway, it was kind of funny.
Welcome to the Luxury Travel Innovators podcast. I'm your host, Adam DeFlorian, founder and CEO of AZDS. Let's take off.
Today I'm joined by Simone Sopresti, president of WoodHouse. Simone, great to see you again.
Great to see you again.
I can't believe it's been about a month since we ran into each other here.
After 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
And it was like I had just saw you the day before. It was amazing.
Very true.
That was great.
Such a lovely surprise, yeah.
Tell us what you're doing here at More. I mean, this is such an incredible space. Thanks for hosting us for the Luxury Travel Innovators. We've had you're our fourth podcast here. Thank you for having this beautiful studio for us. I'd love to hear, tell us about the More.
So the More is ultimately located in a design district in Miami, one of the most exciting neighborhoods, I believe, very centralized located. But the More is ultimately a multitude of things. It's a whole ecosystem. Our core business is ultimately the private social club, which is on a second and third floor.
Okay.
But we kind of sandwich in with hybrids, such as Torno Subito by Massimo Bottura, which is public. You as member, you have special preferred seating and preferred pricing. We have also a Michelin Key awarded hotel.
Okay.
And then we have also a rooftop. So it's kind of a multitude of things. And then the second floor where we're currently sitting, where we have podcast studio, we have cigar lounge and all that stuff. So it's a whole ecosystem that we try to curate.
And when did it open?
It opened in actually very precisely, pretty precisely 2 years ago, April 2024. Actually, next weekend, we're going to have the 2-year anniversary celebration with a big party and a big bash.
Oh, that's super exciting. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you were here for opening?
So I was not privileged enough to be a part of it. No, I actually joined WoodHouse in February 2025. So came on after 1 year. So when it comes to the build out of this one here, I cannot take any credit.
Okay.
But I try to be a good steward of it. That's for sure.
Well, you're operating it damn well now. So that's wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about your personal background? We met obviously when you were, I think, hotel manager of Shutters on the Beach in Los Angeles.
That is correct. So, well, it's quite, as I get older, it's quite a long journey. So
go all the way back. We have time.
So initially studied architecture and construction in Switzerland. So I'm a builder at heart and I stayed a builder. I just pivoted. I built now companies and brands and hopefully teams as well. But initially did that and then did obviously have a background from the hospitality, Swiss hospitality school. In regards to that I had several different courses. Worked in all over Europe with all different disciplines from a luxury hospitality perspective. The Italian side in me kind of caught the passion of the food and beverage, specialized in food and beverage, created my own business in Europe before I ultimately sold it off and moved to New York City across the pond. And then in New York, I created as well my own business with art gallery, event space, and actually club as well.
Oh, really?
And then
where was that?
That was it was in the Lower East Side. Of New York. Actually, to be precise, was Canal Street 57. Between Allen and Orchard. That's where it was the major hub. I had a couple of different satellites, but that was the major hub. And then did that for 7 years, and then moved ultimately to Los Angeles. And went back to my roots of the luxury hospitality and started off with Shutters on the Beach, did in Casa del Mar, became with ETC, which is the mother company, Edward Thomas collection of them. And so that's where we met. And
that's where we met. Did Klaus recruit you or how did you end up at
Klaus recruited? Yes, absolutely. And a big shout out to Klaus, just real quick, because it's the German hardcore school. I learned heck a lot and consider him as one of my mentors. So a big kudos to Klaus. Thank you, Klaus.
Thank you, Klaus, as well for bringing AZDS on many years ago and trusting us. So he brings people together still. Look at us sitting here.
There we go.
After all these years.
So then in 2016, ultimately, I have been recruited by Sam Nazarian.
Okay.
For ultimately Probably because I have all the different verticals that I worked in. So luxury hospitality, restaurant, the nightclub, club. I had experience, and ultimately the SB at the time was luxury lifestyle approach with all those verticals. And
was that pre-Accor, right? When you were
way pre-Accor.
Yeah.
Well, 2 years pre-Accor.
Okay.
Right. And and from there on, so he probably saw something in me because I had all of those disciplines under my belt. And he said, we want to create a worldwide company, right? We had 2 hotels at the time, actually only 1 hotel.
Oh, wow.
Which was the SLS South Beach, which that's why I moved in 2016 to Miami. Was then privileged to be a part of creating the Ennismore 2.0, which is basically 6 very entrepreneurial companies similar as SBE. And we mashed them up together to, at the time, 12 different brands. So some of them that you may know, with Delano, with Mondrian, with SLS, with Hoxton, and so forth, and helped to create ultimately 2.0 Ennismore what it is today. Okay. And as I said, when I started 2 hotels, 1 hotel in the US, then 2 hotels. When I left, we had 146 hotels worldwide.
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. That's
Thank you so
incredible.
much.
And then from there to...
So from there, interesting enough, actually, I invested in a SaaS tech company. And the CEO at the time, Patrick Brandt, is on the board of WoodHouse and approached me and said, listen, we want to grow very organically and healthy. And what you have done with Ennismore and so forth. And then we start to talk with the board, and here I am, and I'm super happy.
So tell us broader to the more here in Miami.
Yes.
What is WoodHouse, and what other locations exist? What's in the pipeline? What's happening
That's
there?
an excellent question. So WoodHouse is actually has several different businesses.
Okay.
But the core business is the social club that we have. That's really the core business. But we have a hotel as well.
Yeah.
We have freestanding restaurants. We are involved in the open air in Nashville.
Okay.
We have paddle and racket clubs as well. So it's a whole mashup. But our vision is that social club in a similar fashion. So we created here kind of like a template, or I would say a showpiece here with the more. That is one of the branches that we set very much our energy and from expansion, and the racket club, which is a racket club and social club. We are the Banner House in Dallas. So right now we are, originally the company is from Dallas, Texas. We have there 2 clubs. We have in Houston a club. We have in Oklahoma City a club.
Which is the racket club.
Which is the racket club.
And what's the name of that one?
It's called Banner House.
Banner House.
B-A and then E-R,
Got it.
And then we have the hotel up in Crescent Butte, Colorado.
Okay.
And so there's,
what's the name of that property?
It's Elevation.
Elevation, okay.
That is right. We're going right now, actually had a meeting with how we're going to go with renovation, full renovation, actually reduce the keys, having in a condo hotel and so forth. So it's quite a mixed bag. But from a club perspective, we believe we have 2 models that we believe that brings us into the future, and we are somewhat trailblazer with it. That whole ecosystem, like you see at the Moore here, and the racket club with the Banner House. That's where we see the growth, the growth in the future. We have several different locations that we aim to go to. Because of NDAs, I cannot reveal where, but we have a healthy growth coming on.
And will it be more branded, or are they going to be independent, or you can't tell us?
No, that's actually an excellent question. We had so many. So we're taking, if I may reference to Auberge or Rosewood, that means ultimately we're taking the approach that each house has its own identity, is nestled into the zeitgeist of the city, of the neighborhood where it's at, and there is not a multiplication of the name. So it's an individual approach. As you know, it makes it more difficult. It makes it way more exciting. And we believe also the identification and the following is deeper rooted when it's more in the, instead of a copy and paste. And so that's
it's almost a like ultra collection with an independent mark and an independent name and the fabric of what it is.
Correct.
And that's how the vision to grow will continue.
That's the division. Yes, that is correct. Yes.
That's very good. And you'll bring in similar concepts though, in regards to each private membership club will have private membership component combined with potentially a restaurant with a, namesake or a very, famous culinary team.
Potentially hotel rooms like here with we have the podcast studio where we're sitting in. So it's that ecosystem, that multifaceted ecosystem. That's what we believe, what makes us very, very strong, in particular in metropolitan cities, and we may get to that in a bit. So,
absolutely.
So the location is very crucial for that. Yeah.
Totally. So how do you sort of what's your model compared to the other private membership clubs that exist today that might be a little bit at scale, like a Soho House, for example? I'd love to hear for our audience what that looks like. And then how do you compare it to like, a San Vicente Bungalows or, a club style that's different than Soho House?
It's a very good question. and I probably need to answer it in many different ways.
Okay.
First of all, it's a huge trend.
Yes.
I mean, you see clubs just coming up like little mushrooms everywhere.
Yeah.
And it would be kind of interesting to dissect why, right? But then we potentially get to that. So where we try to differentiate ourselves is creating the whole ecosystem. Most of the clubs, when you look at them, it's one or the other. So let's take Miami for a second, where we have phenomenal clubs out there, right? Most of them are supper clubs. So you have one room, 2 rooms that you have the privilege to get in, and so forth. But it's really one experience that gets curated.
Like a Chez Margaux in New York type.
A Chez Margaux is phenomenal. We are slightly jealous of that. No, we admire them.
As is everybody.
We admire them, absolutely. But it's one experience that you curate, right?
Yes, it's a supper club with the other
club, meeting the people and mingling and seeing who else is on the next table and so forth. So that's a part of it, right? Where we believe, or if you take, for example, a Neue House in New York, right? Is very much a business club in the sense of workspace and so forth. So it's usually the clubs that we know that we have is focusing on one of it. The difficult part that we try to accomplish is to bring the multi-layer in.
Yeah, because you're doing so much more than a supper club, or a Zero Bond would be another, right? Like
exactly. Yeah. So we're doing more, and I think in that ecosystem, that's what our differentiator is.
Okay.
Doesn't make it easier. You also need from a location and square footage wise, you need significantly more.
Right. Now, a little bit closer to Soho House, right? Because they have the hotel, they have the membership component.
A little bit closer to Soho House, that is right. Soho House, you would have to probably dissect the philosophy and the ethos over the last couple of years, because that changed quite a bit, and it's just about to change again, I believe. But yes, it's definitely closer to Soho House than probably a pure supper club.
Got it. Yeah. Why? I mean, you touched on it. I think it'll actually be very interesting for the podcast. Why are clubs having such a moment? And I ask it because it's been in Europe for a long time, right? I mean, you look in London, and that's you're Swiss. But New York, and you obviously started to see the San Vicente, as we mentioned, and Zero Bond, and some of the other early ones, right? Yes. Then the Chez Margaux, etc. Yep. Why is it having such a moment, and why are you starting to see it spread?
Yeah, so let me give you two levels of answers. I think fundamentally as a society, we all crave to find like-minded people.
Yeah.
We are group animals, we're group mammals.
And it's hard to do.
And it's hard to do, and it would be kind of interesting to deep dive into that, but just for the sake of answering the question. So I think there's a drive as human beings to be surrounded of somewhat like-minded people.
Yeah.
And not only just because these days you can be surrounded virtually all over the globe. Right? But when it comes physically and breaking bread together, or having a good conversation, having a water cooler conversation somewhere in the workspace, I think we have a crave for that. So I think that the businesses understand that there's a need for that. There's a demand to it. On a business level, our society moves more and more into subscription, not owning. And ultimately, club memberships is a subscription business.
True.
Clearly, there are ancillary other revenues or other incomes that can be made, but ultimately it becomes a subscription. And so from a business model, once you reach that magical point of amount of members and create the right community, you are less busy as a hotel that is paddling constantly. Okay, we were great in this season, but what are we doing next season, right? So
totally.
I think from a society perspective speaking, but also from a business.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah. So adjacent to that, here at the Moor, what kind of programming do you put on for the like-minded members? Like what have been some of the exciting events that you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we strongly believe that the programming is a differentiator. So by side of the build out, by side of the ecosystem, the programming
which is stunning, by the way. Your spaces are stunning.
Thank you. We're quite happy. 100,000 square foot, just to put it kind of in perspective for the listener. It's 4 floors, centralized in a design district. But but in regards to the programming it needs to stay fluid because it is a catering of an experience for your members. And as your members either over years go through different phases of their life, as you potentially get new members and it changes, so you need to continuously have the finger on the pulse what it is. But we try to curate in many different ways. Just to give you an idea, in 2025, we had 578 events in programming solely.
Wow.
That is, we usually all close on Sunday, so it's 2 to 3 events a day.
Wow.
And so the thing is, what we do is we are kind of in a triangle between cultural, art, and hospitality. We have a lot of music. For example, the maestro, the musical director from the Miami Symphony, had a little Kammermusik here. We have watchmaking classes with, I think I can mention here a brand, with IWC, Swiss people. I guess I have to support them.
plug for the Swiss. Always plug for the Swiss.
I mean, with the watches, you
have to.
But so watchmaking classes, we have AI talks. We have people, leaders from within the industry that have a conversation, open conversation with audience, but also fun stuff, such as simple. We have beautiful wine tastings. We have wine pairing. We have sushi making classes. We have a mahjong tournament today because it's today, I think, the day of mahjong is today.
Really?
So we have a mahjong tournament.
Wow.
So it's a wide bandwidth of what we curate.
That's incredible. And then in regards to technology here at the club, right? You touched on AI, and obviously that's such a hard, core of what we do now, especially at AZDS, but really the world. The world,
yes.
So what kind of technology do you offer for the members, and like what are you guys investing in?
That is an excellent question, and we have AI. Obviously, it's the future. So we are ultimately we're dipping our toes in it. Let's put it this way.
So you can talk to me after, and we'll help you get the right technology.
There you go.
I don't usually make it salesy at all, but you gave me an opportunity.
There we go. I prepared
you handed it to me on a platter.
So yeah, we have AI, we do that technology. We have also our CRM, which is where we register all the information from the members, because that is ultimately unique. You know your members significantly better than a luxury hotel.
Right.
That even though there's maybe a repeat guest, but a repeat guest comes once, twice a year, or maybe every 2 years, right? So from in regards to collecting information, what the preferences are, what they like, what they don't like, and so forth, there we are definitely, but the human aspect will
not go away.
No.
But do you want to create an app, or do you have an app today, for example?
So we have the CRM is ultimately an app.
Okay.
Right. The CRM provides the app, and that's ultimately where it is. What is, just from a communication perspective speaking, and one of my mentors mentioned that when we think we over communicate, that's when we start to communicate.
Yeah.
Usually it's this
totally
one, is we think it around of like, how do we send message? Because we have so much content to be released.
Yeah.
And we want to let the people know what's going on. So is it now via email? And to be honest with you, in my opinion, the emails is just ineffective.
It's noise.
It's noise.
Yeah.
Push notification, text message, and so forth. So relatively old ways to communicate, but we try to figure out of what our audience ultimately reacts the most. Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the design district. I mean, you've been now in Miami, you said, since 2016. So I'll get on that in a minute. After we talk about the design district, we'll back out a little bit and talk about Miami and the growth you've seen, the change. I mean, when I saw you a month ago, I was just saying how unbelievably exciting it is to be here, because it's just the center of, in my opinion, the center of the United States right now. I mean, how exciting everything is. Yeah. But talk about the design district. How did this come to be? What was the vision for it? The neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, the design district created by Craig Robbins, which is a dear friend, and I can reveal that he's also a member. Otherwise, I'm very secretive about who's member. And ultimately, was always what his vision was from a design district, that the Moore building, which has a lot of history, right, was not built in 1922. Yeah. Went through many different business models. Before we took it over, was basically an event space. He always envisioned to have a business that takes in one piece, so not dissecting it. And it took somebody that has a lot of gut to take that big 100,000 square foot on. Brady Wood, who is our founder, had that gut and took it on. The design district is amazing what transformation went through, right? Okay. I mean, when I came on was like the beginning of just kind of like being the, I would say, the shopping area, right, of
Okay.
the high luxury brands. But thankfully, we moved on from that. We clearly still have all.
You
the
have
key
everything
brands.
here, but
You have everything, but you have now a lot of restaurants as well. So it becomes
Okay.
a destination where people say, "Yeah, I go and shop, but I want to dine as well. I want to spoil my taste buds, right?" You have a lot of art installation, art exhibition. So it becomes much more of a cultural hub than just a shopping area, and that for us is phenomenal because that's what we curate, again, between cultural, art, and hospitality.
Yeah.
And we try to basically become somewhat of the lobby lounge or the place, the headquarter for the people that come to Design District.
And then adjacent to the Design District, right, you have, Wynwood, and you have Brickell South, and you have, you have all these different neighborhoods. What would you say the character is of the areas around it and how the growth you've seen, like the changes you've seen around here?
Let's maybe start south of it. So that's Midtown.
Yep.
Midtown ultimately is for, I would say, successful professionals
Okay.
that are, it's high-rise building over, I would say 10 years ago was like built like crazy.
Okay.
Right? I don't know how many, I think must be in the 20,000 units were created
wow.
there. So that is Midtown. Now they kind of reached a place where there's, I would say, saturated.
Okay.
Now comes Edgewater, which is kind of in the southwest, meaning Edgewater is overlooking the bay.
Okay.
East, where you see Miami Beach on the horizon. So Edgewater is developing with as well units, mostly condos.
Okay.
That is very interesting for us in the Design District. And then north of us is ultimately you have two things: northwest. Northwest, you have Wynwood, which is transforming massively.
Yeah.
It will probably take a couple more years because being back in the hospitality industry was always the question: is like, is Wynwood ready for a hotel itself? There's a couple of brands that had the gut to go there.
Okay.
And probably have a little bit challenges. But anyway, Wynwood is transforming
More of like a
massively.
Venice Beach if we're comparing it to LA.
Exactly.
Right?
It's more of a Venice, more of a bohemian, eclectic approach. And then you have what is really magical is for the single family homes. You have Buena Vista and Upper Buena Vista, which is north of it. So it's one of the few pockets in Miami, in this area where you have freestanding single family homes and they go through transformation with townhouses and single family units. Actually, we're currently just spoke with a developer that builds over the next 3 years 400 properties.
Wow.
Single family homes. Single family homes.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So, I mean, major growth. What do you like? Then we back out further and we just look at Miami, including Miami Beach.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's had just such unbelievable growth since, really post-COVID, right?
Post-COVID, yeah.
I mean, if we look at it, it's still popular before, but that's really the...
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a multitude of things. I mean, first of all, the COVID thing was, as it was relatively loose governed in regards to restrictions and so forth, the people that were not as sensitive in regards to health and so forth flocked to Miami, and ultimately that created a whole boost to it. But I think what is, as you perfectly mentioned, is Miami becomes, I look, it's almost like the new frontier again.
Yeah.
It's like money comes in, businesses come in, that means creates opportunities for individuals. The weather is not terrible. The taxation is very ideal. So there's a lot of things that ultimately come to play with it. And ultimately it's kind of the sixth borough of New York. Has always been, but now even more so.
Totally.
Yeah. And what is interesting, going back to my previous life, and I still now actually had a call with Abu Dhabi recently before the most recent development in the Middle East. There was always Dubai or Miami. And of course, with Dubai being in a very peculiar situation right now in that area, so Miami profits from that even more so. Had with probably 5 or 6 people a conversation where they say we were kind of going back and forth between Miami and Dubai, and well, it pivoted to Miami now.
Miami, yeah. In regards to like, if we look at the future of the culinary right here, how do you think is your vision to bring in independent culinary to every future club, or how do you think you're going to do that? You think you'll bring in the same teams, the same?
And so it is a good question. And so first of all, from my style, I'm a long-term relationship person.
Yeah.
So meaning when it's rare to find people that have the same best-in-class approach, the same work style and so forth. And if you find them, you want to continue working with them.
It's not broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. And the more you know each other, the better you usually work with each other.
Totally.
Right. So the thing is what we see, we definitely see some opportunities with partners that we currently have to move on and create even more collaborations with future clubs. But we are also very open to ultimate. Our company is very creative, and we really get a kick out of going into areas that uncharted territories for us. So we kind of like that.
I like that too. That's good.
And so
it's entrepreneurial.
It's very entrepreneurial thinking, and that's what I enjoy. But we have the partnership muscle is extremely developed with us. I mean, Massimo Bottura, he's actually coming today.
Is he coming?
He's coming today. He will
nice.
arrive this afternoon. So a dear friend of mine, of us, and super happy to collaborate with him downstairs. But again, what is interesting is, I think for the industry professionals, it is not a license agreement. It's not just a rent out. It is a true partnership that we created. And that makes it, I think, stronger.
That's fantastic. You've been in such unique space, right? And you have so much exposure, right? Like you mentioned, that was part of the excitement of life. You were at SLS and Sam Nazarian. What do you like? How do you define a really good quality luxury brand? Like, what are the pillars? What are the pieces that make a great luxury brand?
I mean, it just sounds very cliche of what I say, but it's really true. I mean, personalizing service.
Okay.
Anticipating. Luxury means for me, you let the guest know what their choices are before they even think about it.
Yeah.
So anticipating and thinking for the guest. I think that is true luxury. Also, most of the time, the people that can afford to travel in luxury, what they don't have is time.
Time, yeah.
And so time being time sensitive about, they are here to relax, if it's a leisure stay. So that is for me ultimately true luxury. I mean, I don't have a magical word that is that is somehow out of the blue, but it's really personalizing service. And I mean, last but not least is, I think, the genuine touch. Mm-hmm. The genuine touch, and it's not a robotic approach.
Totally. Yeah. Well, it's funny you say it, right? Because another mutual friend of ours, Gregory Day, was on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
A while back.
Yeah.
And I think he said exactly what you said very well, which is the change that he sees in luxury, because he defined it the same way you did. Mm-hmm. The personal touch and the personal approach to luxury, right? But what he said was very interesting. The change in luxury has been that in the past, a luxury hotel especially, you would show up and you would be expected to sort of adapt to that environment.
Yeah.
Like could have been, whether it be through formal dress or whether it be through just whatever, right? The classic form of, I'm going to call it stuffy, but stuffy luxury, right?
Yeah.
And now with the new current generations, the big change is that you as the luxury brand need to adapt to me
100%.
as the luxury customer.
100%.
And what I want, whether it's a wellness approach or whether it is that, specific type of dining experience that I'm looking for, like personal, as you just mentioned, right, is so critical. But it's that to do it really well, you have to adapt to me as the customer now, which is a totally new challenge.
100%. I think there's a part that luxury hospitality misses an opportunity. Is enable the traveler to connect to the locals. Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And I think that's the future of luxury. And that's where the club luxury hotels come in my opinion. Yeah. Because if you travel somewhere, what's the purpose of going to travel somewhere? I mean, there can be many different reasons. I just want to lay on a beach. I just want to drink good wine. But ultimately, for the people that enjoy travel, you would like to connect with what the local place offers, right? Culture, exactly. And that's where actually the most brands, in my opinion, are missing a boat, right? Because you come in, yes, you have to adapt to what the needs are, and you should know those needs before the guest arrives. But then, okay, you have the option to go and dine beautifully. Yeah. You have the option to be in a fantastic pool. You have the spa option. You have all that stuff. But where do you actually connect? Where's the synopsis to the locals? Yeah. So the programming part would be an absolute, I think that would be a differentiator.
You're so right.
for the luxury brands out there. Yeah. A differentiator to ultimately say, hey, there's every day we have 2 or 3 events, 7 days a week, where our travelers from all over the globe can tap into that into that experience of what locals like to do. There's a local artist?
Yeah.
Is there the music and everything else, right? So that is, I think that's where the luxury is currently missing, and I believe could be the potential differentiator in the future.
I totally agree. And I think it's that combined with the environment you're in. So I think the best luxury, I mean, for me at least, right, considering we have so many amazing luxury clients around the world, my favorites are the ones that actually feel like they've created an environment that's appropriate for the location, right? Like versus the more just nice environment, but you could drop it in any city in the world, right? I love that authenticity of showing up at Le Bristol in Paris and you're in Paris. Correct. There's nowhere else in the world where that property would work, right? That's Paris. And there are examples of that in different places. Le Serenus, another good example in Positano.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
it's a zeitgeist of that culture that is there, and really funny, and it's a bit. But on that topic, I was recently in Switzerland, a very, very well-known, beautiful hotel. I'm not going to name the name. And we got as a welcome amenity tropical fruits.
Right. In Switzerland. In the mountains, in the Alps.
Right. And I was like, it's kind of missing of like, no, give me the stuff, right? Give me either the fruits or whatever grows in Switzerland. Or
chocolate.
Whatever
would be Swiss.
But not tropical fruit. So anyway, it was kind of funny. So it's a little example where sometimes it's all meant well, and maybe for the team at the property is like the exotic thing that has a certain attraction, but actually for the people that travel there, I want to experience
the local
where you're there.
Maybe it was personalized because they knew you were from South Florida, Miami. So they live in Miami, so they were trying to give you tropical.
I haven't thought about it.
They wanted to make it feel like home. Welcome home.
No, I left Miami for a reason. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyways, that's good. That's good. What are some of the brands? You can give a couple hospitality, but then also give me non-hospitality, like could be automotive, luxury, retail, whatever. Who do you really respect in the luxury space?
Oof. Now you're putting me here on the spot.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I'm gonna a quick shout out to Auberge. To be honest with you, especially with the newest leadership. I think they're going really in the right direction. Where again, each house has its own identity, and I think they're really they're capturing that in a most beautiful way. So so a big shout out to Auberge and the team there. They really hit the nail on the head. What else? I mean, there are a couple of.
Could be small brands. That doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be
like...
Okay,
I got to give you something you're going to laugh. Okay. California.
Yeah.
What is the most famous burger?
In-N-Out.
There we go. I do not know what they do, but whoever is in charge of... And I always say software is stronger than the hardware, meaning the team, the mindset, the hospitality, the genuine... approach is much stronger than actually the beautiful build out, in my opinion. The build out is needed for luxury, but where you really set yourself aside is with the team. And In-N-Out Burger, I don't know, and I actually tried to figure out of what are they doing right, because they're flipping burgers, they're frying fries, but you come to the counter and you feel like they're genuinely excited to see you. Although there was a line wrapped around the building, and you come at the counter, they're like, great to see you. How would you like animal style? So anyway, the thing is, it's so there are a couple of companies that are definitely not in a luxury segmentation, but they have somewhere the secret sauce that the team is identifying, is genuinely caring, and that's magical.
That is, no, I totally agree, and that's interesting, right? That means it doesn't have to be luxury, but again, it's like it's personalized, it's warm, it's kind, So, and there's consistency. I think that's another big one.
That's the magic part. I mean, I don't even know how many
a lot
stores they have. Probably quite a couple, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter where you go. Yeah.
No, another good example would be, Hillstone, right? Hillstone does an amazing job across their brands, and Hillstone, of course, of being very consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. You know exactly what you get when you get.
You know what you're going to get, and you know it's going to be quality. I also like and appreciate and respect things like, they don't just have artichoke, their famous artichokes on the menu. If it's out of season and the artichokes aren't ready, they don't give you the artichoke. They say it's not on the menu, right? And that's better than serving me something that's going to disappoint me.
Exactly.
I'm going to remember the last experience I had, know?
Yeah.
So, Simone, it's been such a pleasure having you on the podcast.
It's a pleasure. Great to see you again.
Great to see you again. I always finish with these 3 rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So they're easy. Don't worry. They're not too hard. What personal travel are you most excited about next?
2 answers, is that allowed?
That's totally allowed.
Okay, first of all, From the WoodHouse, we create a passport. We call it the passport. It's always during the summer where we know that our members travel any places in the world. And so we collaborate with dear friends and partners in those countries. We're going to be in Paris. We're going to be in London. We're going to be in Saint-Tropez. We're going to be most likely Ibiza as well. So that part is kind of fun. So we basically organize for our members that are most of the times during the summer in those areas of the globe. So we organize that. I'm looking really forward. It's a little bit more business. So that is answer number one. Answer number two is a big shout to my. I'm just about to go and visit my father-in-law.
Okay.
Phenomenal, brilliant gentleman. That I'm very excited to see him. In a quite advanced ages, but sharp as a whip. And he has, although never worked in hospitality, he has always the best questions and the most challenging questions for me. And so I look forward to see him. Actually, he's in the northwest of the US. So
Northwest of the US.
Yeah,
okay.
correct.
Exciting. Amazing. The show's all about innovation and moving forward.
Yep.
But the past shapes the future. So what do you miss about the glamorous days of travel?
Glamorous day. So which area are you referring to? What is the
That's a fair question. When travel was more unique and special.
Okay, understood.
Not as commoditized.
A commodity. Okay.
It's a commodity now, right?
What do I miss the most? Probably the fashion.
Yeah.
I think, it's kind of times that when people went to the airplane and dressed up to be in the airplane, is kind of passé, it's done. I understand the only consistent in life is change. But I kind of miss that part of like dressing for the occasion, never a second chance for a first impression. In German, you say actually, Kleider machen Leute. And it kind of has, if you translate it in the meaning, it's like, you see somebody how they're dressed and you know kind of who they are.
Yeah.
So that whole dressing up, I kind of missed it a little bit.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I love it. And last, what innovation in travel doesn't exist today that you think should? And it doesn't have to be technology. Like Jan Arnold, Roccaforte Hotels said luggage racks. He goes, you go as an international traveler, and he's so right. And they have these little luggage racks, and your big suitcase falls off the luggage rack, right? And all your stuff's on the floor. And he's like, we should, especially, right, on a global scale, we should have large luggage racks.
Very true. And if I may refer, my wife does not travel light.
Yeah.
So yes, I haven't even thought about that.
It's accurate though.
It's
feel
totally
like,
accurate. So what do I think? I think I go back of what I said, where the luxury hospitality is missing the connection to the locals.
Yeah.
I think the luxury travel, because right now, I think with actually relatively little effort, you could make something really culturally relevant 7 days a week for the travelers to be luxury. You have either a room set aside or the lobby lounge where there's always something curated. And I think the curation of it is the key, right? Because right now, if you luxury travel, you're probably going to connect with the concierge, right? And you say, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. And they beautifully line everything up. But it's up to you to do that.
Totally.
Why isn't the hotel curate something? Now you could say, I'm not interested to, I don't know what, right? But but I think that's ultimately the future, that we, in the hospitality, in the luxury hospitality, we curate a local experience in the hotel and or outside of the hotel.
Totally.
And that's missing.
Love it. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this episode of Luxury Travel Innovators. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. See you next time.